Hello and welcome back to BS Rugby. Round 3 of the Six Nations is here, and arguably the biggest test of the weekend sees Wales head over to Twickenham to take on England. A game that is steeped in history and a huge derby with a lot of emotions involved is bound to be a good one. Here is my preview and predictions ahead of this one. As always, I'll be really eager to hear in the comments down below your thoughts on this game. Give your predictions, of course. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. It's completely free to do. Come join the channel as we push towards 3,000 subs by the end of the Six Nations. Before we get into the preview, of course, we're going to be doing a watch along for this one. You guys love it. Watch along live from 4:30 p.m. with kickoff at 4:45. There'll be a link in the description and in the comments as well. Hit that link and you'll be notified of when we go live. Let's have a chat then about last week, 2 weeks ago, sorry. Now, of course, England playing against Italy out in Rome, getting a win there by 33 points to 0. Italy weren't great at all in that game, but England getting the job done, getting that bonus point, while Wales got a really important win against Scotland after losing on the opening weekend, this time beating the Scots by 20 points to 17. Of course, these teams play against each other quite a lot. Last time they played each other was at the Principality. Obviously, there were some interesting refereeing decisions, let's say, but Wales getting the win in that one by 40 points to 24. Back in the Autumn Nations Series in 2020, England won at Pau Cascavel 24-14. Last time these two teams played at Twickenham was back in the Six Nations of 2020. England winning that by 33 points to 30. Wales having that incredible comeback to an extent. And then at the Principality in the Rugby World Cup warm-up in 2019, Wales won that by 13 points to 6. And the game prior to that one was also a World Cup warm-up game at Twickenham. England winning that one by 33 points to 19. Interestingly, Wales have not won at Twickenham since 2015 when they won in the Rugby World Cup pool stages. So it's been quite a while, and is it time to change that around? Now, both teams have been announced. Of course, the news of Manu Tuilagi did come out, so do bear that in mind. I have been looking over the socials of England Rugby, and they are still yet to announce who is going to replace him in the centre. I'll tell you who I think he'll be, but it's not going to be announced until match day, so do just bear that in mind. This is how England line up, starting then in the backs. We have Freddie Stewart at fullback with Jack Noel coming in on the wing alongside Max Malins. Manu Tuilagi, of course, is injured. I believe that it's probably going to be Joe Marchant who will come into the centre, with Henry Slade partnering whoever is going to be there. Harvey Randall starts at 9, which is a really interesting decision, alongside Marcus Smith. In the front row, Ellis Genge, Luke Cowan-Dickey and Kyle Sinclair. And then in the locks, we have Charlie Ewels and Maro Itoje. In the back row, Courtney Laws partners the team at 6, and he's back after injury. Tom Curry plays at 7, while Alex Dombrandt gets the nod at 8. Leaving a bench looking like this: Jamie George, Joe Marlon, Will Stewart are the front row options, with Nick Isakui and Sam Simmons as the back row and lock options. Ben Youngs is the scrum half option, with George Ford and Elliot Daly completing the team. Really interesting to see Harvey Randall, and excited to see how he goes. Let's have a look at the Wales team. It's also been announced, and we will go through it now. Starting with the fullback, Liam Williams plays at fullback. Josh Adams is back fit after his injury. He plays on the wing alongside Alex Cuthbert, who impressed last week against Scotland. Nick Tompkins partners Owen Watkin in the centre. Of course, he impressed last week and was very, very good in my opinion. At 9 and 10, it's the same old partnership of Thomas Williams and Dan Biggar, who, of course, is captain. And interestingly, you may have seen doing the rounds on social that this is the first time in this fixture that both captains have come from the same club. Of course, Courtney Laws and Dan Biggar both playing down at Northampton Saints. In the front row, we have Wyn Jones, Ryan Elias and Thomas Francis, with Will Rowlands and Adam Beard playing in the locks. In the back row, then, we have Ross Moriarty, who moves to 6. Faletau comes in at 8, and he's played a couple of games for Bath recently. And then Tane Basham keeps his place at 7. Leaving a bench then of Derry Lake, Gareth Thomas and Leon Brown comes onto the bench. Seb Davis, Jack Morgan drops onto the bench. Kieran Hardy and Gareth Anscombe come onto the bench. And Jonathan Davis is also there. So a little bit of change for both teams, but both teams will be confident going into this game after good results 2 weeks ago. Some of the key battles on the pitch, of course, we've got to talk about this one. It's Marcus Smith against Dan Biggar. Marcus Smith, very young, but hugely talented, can create something out of nothing. But I don't feel like we've seen the best of him yet in this year's competition. Dan Bigger, of course, took over that captaincy role with the injury to Alan Wynne-Jones, and he is very, very experienced in comparison to Marcus Smith. The kicking game is going to be fascinating, and the battle between these two, I believe, could be pretty key to the result of the game. The other battle, of course, is this one, Thomas Williams, and maybe to a shock to an extent, Harry Randall getting a start at 9 over Ben Youngs. Harry Randall, of course, very exciting young scrum half, only 2 caps to date. It's a huge game to give him the nod, but both play quite similar. They like to snipe around the breakdown, very attack-minded, and they both love to give it a go. They'll also offer great support lines to any player that makes a breakthrough, and that's what any good scrum half should do, and they'll certainly look to speed the game up. But the biggest battle for me, I think, in this game is going to be the battle of the back row. I'm really fascinated to see how this goes. The back row, of course, of Courtney Laws, Tom Curry, and Alex John Brandt for England, against Moriarty, Basham, and Faletau for Wales. In terms of this battle, I mean, look, England are going to try, I believe, and bully Wales up top. I think that's something they are going to try and do. I think if England can get that quick ball, you look at the likes of Marcus Smith, Henry Slade, and Max Malins, Freddie Stewart, they have the ability to open this Wales team up. And defensively, there have been moments where Wales have looked pretty shaky. But if Wales can get parity up top with this England team as much as possible, then they could certainly get the platform to begin to open teams up. I mean, you have to look at the likes of Owen Watkin, who made some really nice breaks last week. Tompkins has been fantastic defensively in the competition so far. And Dan Bigger, fair play to him, has carried this Wales teams at points in the Six Nations so far. I'm really excited to see how that battle of the back row goes. Can Wales disturb things? What will be the impact of Talupe Faletau, who's back in? Is he match fit completely at international level? And also then looking at that breakdown, Tom Curry is going to be really interesting. And maybe Wales are lacking a specialist at the breakdown in that area. Tom Curry will be over the ball, and Wales may be lacking in that area with no Ellis Jenkins in there. Of course, Jack Morgan is on the bench. I expect both teams to kick quite a bit. In fact, I think we will see a lot of kicking in this game. It will be a nervy one. There's a lot of tension in this game. There's a lot of emotion. Both teams want to win by a lot. Of course, both teams will still believe that they can go on and win this competition and hope that France slip up along the way. But how do I see this one going? Well, my heart says Wales. Of course it is. I'm Welsh. My heart says Wales. My head says it's going to be a really, really tight game. I think England probably go into this one as favourites, and rightly so. I think they have performed the better of the two nations. But I think if Wales, as I said, can get that parity up front, I don't see any reason why Wales can't win this game. Wales are a much more experienced side than England on paper. And with the likes of Dan Bigger calling the shots at 10 and as captain, he will know whether to go for the post, whether to go for the corner. Does this England team have that experience all the way throughout the squad to make those decisions? We've seen England were punished against Scotland for making the wrong decisions at the wrong times. It should be really fascinating to see the impact of the benches as well. I'm fascinated to see how that works. My head says Wales by 5. My heart says Wales by 10. So I'm going to go Wales by 3 to 5 points. I think Wales are going to get the job done at Twickenham. I've got to back Wales, of course I do. And that is how I see it going. But as always, if you have enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like on the video. Comment your predictions down below. Let me know if I'm right or wrong, what you think of the game. And of course, subscribe to the channel. And as I said at the beginning, I'm going to be doing a watch along for this game, going live at 4:30 p.m. with kickoff at 4:45. So be sure to join us for that. There'll be a link in the description, in the I button, I'm sure as well, and in the comments down below. Hit that link, set your reminders, and you'll be notified of when we are going live. Of course, there will already be a Scotland against France preview out on the channel, and we're also doing a Scotland against France watch along on the channel as well, going live at 2 o'clock with kickoff at 2:15. So they will be back to back. So make sure to join us for them. Until then, though, enjoy the rugby over the weekend. I hope to catch you on a watch along. Take it easy, stay safe,